This is a show that you could call any number of things. You could call it a finale, or you could call it the last show in a series that isn't really a finale because, and it certainly isn't a cancellation because it was only meant to go a certain amount of time. It was an hour. And this is the last hour in the series, the same 1 hour series that included great shows with Groucho and others. On this one, I have one friend to lean on, Woody Allen, and the great Ruth Gordon. If you never saw Ruth Gordon on the stage, you must lament that fact. Watch on this, by the way, how she, something I didn't even realize at the time, she appears to have not prepared anything much to say, but she does it in such a way that she gets applause virtually every time she ends a statement. It's a lesson in something that only Ruth Gordon could teach. So here we are. Note the calendar, September 19th, 1969.
The Dick Cavett Show with Woody Allen, Ruth Gordon, and Bob Rosengarten and the orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Cavett.
There's no place for sick humor in this medium. Get that thing down. Welcome to this latest show in our series. Really the latest. I have no joke monologue prepared tonight, but I'm going to do a monologue anyway, and this is it. And if you don't like it tonight, I'm never going to do it again. This is it, folks. After tonight, Santa Flesh finds itself a new boy. Listen, I would like to say, I'm going to talk about the show later on, not a lot right now, but I would like to say, if I forget later, that I have made a lot of new friends on this run. It was a limited engagement. I'll explain that later. I mean, it was always meant to be. And I've met a lot of new people and new sponsors and friends and stolen a lot of ballpoint pens from the network. It's been fun. And I remember when my other show went off, that was a cancellation. That was the real thing. And the network has somehow, under Mr. Rule, gotten somewhat classier than then. I don't know what it is, but I remember my old cancellation was a telegram, just a telegram, nothing personal. Roses are red, violets are blue, save your money, we're dumping you. And, I knew it came from the top because red was spelled wrong, but we have... ABC has been very kind. They have made terrific fuss over me right up to the last show now. I mean, really a fuss. The way NBC treats Johnny Carson, just really... They came in and burned my office down is what they did. You know. So anyway, I look forward to the winter. And I'm going to relax in the winter. My biggest problem this winter will just be whether to use coal or raisins as the snowman's mouth. You see, none of the pressures and tensions of television. Hey, a stagehand gave me a joke. He waited all this time, and he gave me a joke. Said, you may need this in the monologue. He said, tell him we were going to serve Long Island duckling, but the train didn't get in. Listen. Gee, the stagehand gets applause, I get nothing. More stagehands should be out on stage, and more performers should be back where they belong. Oh, hi, Rosengarten. He's not there.
Hi, Dickie.
Knock it off. What was I going to tell you? Oh, someone asked... I did a joke about Shirley Temple the other day, and they said the reason Mr. Nixon appointed her to the UN delegation. And theories have been coming in. One of them is that he wants the world to have a happy ending. That's not the best one that's come in. We've had quite a few others. Listen, I have some mail to read to you. We were deluged with phone calls about the Adam Clayton Powell show Tuesday night, and the mail won't be able to come in by that, but I am going to read you, as we come back, some angry mail and some nice mail that we've gotten so that you know that your mail is looked at. And I don't want to go into a long thing about thanking all the little people, because none of them is littler than I am on this show. And so we should just get on with it. We have tonight Woody Allen, who has had a number of honors lately. One of them, he's been appointed fashion consultant to the Manganero Trucking and Delivery Firm. And one of the great ladies of the American theater and screen, Miss Ruth Gordon, is here with us. And we'll be massage. I know that when you watch a television show and you write in about something, you wonder if your mail is ever read. And I have been trying to catch up on the mail. It's been coming in about the show going off in boxes of 500, which are piling up. So I assume I will get to your letter sometime in November if it's at the bottom of that pile. But we did some past shows, which we got an awful lot of mail, particularly... about when we had Allen Ginsberg and Joan Baez on. And I would just like to read it to you to show you what happens when you have something like that on the show. These were not typical guests, but a I'll just read these straight through. How could you stoop so low as to have anyone like Joan Baez on your show is beyond me. She made the statement, who would want this country? If she doesn't like it, why doesn't she go somewhere else? I must say your show has the most appropriate sponsor, Santa Flesh, of any show on television. And I'm sure no one would miss her and her miserable talent, and I would be willing to bet no other country would want her either. Dick, where's that from? Michigan, not that it matters. It was so good to see Joan Baez on your show. Nonviolent movement is the future of humanity. If humanity is to have a future, hope to see her back again on your show. Thank you. Shows such as yours can be an influence for good, but not by providing a platform for those who hold our country in contempt. Joan Baez has amassed a fortune in our country under our system. I'd like to see her do it in any other country she held up as an example. I'm sick of such un-American activities and pronouncements, my country right or wrong. That's from Iowa. The actual source of that quote, I looked up, and it's Carl Schurz, and the quote was, our country right or wrong, when right, keep her right, when wrong, to make her right again, which is more complicated, actually. Just to counteract the mail you may have gotten about Joan Baez Harris, enjoyed her very much after your tasteless remark about her husband. As well, thanks for having more courage than CBS. May I say further that bland, uninspired television offends my group. Sincerely, Ann Jennings. The appearance of Joan Baez, this is a telegram on Dick Cavett's show Monday night, was a revelation. Cavett's introduction, quote, the only guest I've had whose husband is in jail, end quote, was tasteless. But his opening remark, how does it feel to have your old man out of the house, sets a new standard for brutality in a medium whose basic contribution to American life is vulgarity. Cavett's comeuppance from the studio audience was surprising, but the revelation came from Miss Baez, her grace and her humanity, and Cavett, who when faced with a human being, revealed himself a fool. This is written to let you know that there are people who appreciate you letting Joan Baez express her views in relationship to the draft and the war and so on. Denver. Disappointing treatment of Baez deserves apology. Would appreciate explanation on air tonight. Is your liberal attitude a facade? Sorry to see you've been emasculated by ABC. Fraternally, the San Francisco Resistance. Thank you for showing courage and integrity by having someone on like Allen Ginsberg. It was the only opportunity many of us have had to hear this man speak. Your questions get right to the heart of the matter. Thank you. Why do you allow an insect like Allen Ginsberg to make a statement that Sinclair was sentenced to 9.5 to 10 years for possessing 2 marijuana cigarettes? I enjoy your show, but he was convicted for the 3rd time. Someone should clear this up. Why allow people to lie on your program? I'm disappointed in you. I guess I'll have to discontinue being one of your viewers. It's from Mr. Dentner, so someone can tell him that I read his letter. Well, your show is consistently interesting and entertaining, but tonight with Allen Ginsberg was the best yet. I hope that you'll continue to see you for a long time, and Mr. Ginsberg again, William Mulligan, M.D. I'm sorry, I should not read some names and not others. Thank you for having Allen Ginsberg on. He's a great human being. On Tuesday, you had Allen Ginsberg on your show. After listening to your conversation with him, we came to the conclusion that he was in favor of drugs. He complained that a friend was given a sentence for 9 years for selling 2 sticks of pot. We would have given him 20 years. We are not old people. We're 15 and 16-year-old girls, and we don't consider ourselves squares. In our opinion, this man is a pig, and if the world were left in his hands, we feel it would be in a worse state than it is now. The drug user is a menace not only to himself but all society. And thank you for... we'd like to express our opinion that not all young people are in favor of drugs. Well, this goes on. It's interesting and confusing. Another letter in favor of Ginsberg, another letter against him. Honest people can disagree on this subject, and I am not against either of you. This sort of thing gets me a bit. Why did you have that Ginsberg animal on your show? Do you think young people should take LSD? No, I do not, as I said on that show. He was as repulsive and obnoxious, and furthermore, he should be tried for treason. Why doesn't the Army round up some of these rats and put them away somewhere? Mrs. So-and-so. You, madam, are a fool. Anyway, I would like to... I hope you don't take that personally. And I don't mean to lump the other people who did not like Allen Ginsberg with you. My husband and I have been watching your show regularly. This is the confusing thing about doing this show. I explained this one night. I was talking to Jack Parr about it over the weekend. These, I think, speak for themselves. My husband and I have been watching your show regularly, enjoy it very much. Last night, Joan Baez was one of your guests, and I'm writing to let you know we did not agree with your stand against her. Usually, you're quite broad-minded, but last night you acted like a boob. Recently, I viewed the show in which Joan Baez was interviewed, and I was so appalled that I felt compelled to express my feelings. How sad that Americanism has slipped to this level. Hard to believe that anyone could make such comments on national television without one word of opposition from the host. There's a contradiction in those two. One more to show you that. May I tell you how happy I was that your audience did not applaud Joan Baez in the garbage or draft dodge your husband wrote? But why did you sit there nodding and smiling agreement with every word out of her mouth? And the next letter says, Mr. Cavett's hostility and total ignorance of Joan Baez's message of brotherhood was despicable. He hates the love that she speaks of and that is possessed by Joan Baez, and it is a symbol of his insignificance. It's very hard to know which I did when I read these things. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that. People write in, I've said this before, when I disagree with someone, they say, you're supposed to shut up and be an objective host and not interrupt. And when I don't disagree with someone, they do. They say, the same people say, why don't you tell them? Why did you shut that guy up? So, as I said, please be more precise in your instructions. It's hard to know. There have been thousands of letters about the show going off, and this one amused me. I have favored my furniture. The kitchen floor shots Bravo. The 3 toilet bowls are Santa Flesh. Thanks to Raid, the only pest around is our dog. Our teenage daughters go with Clearasil and Sinex. And I'm smoking a Viceroy as I write. Is there anything else we can do to keep your litter entertaining program so on the air? be commended for bringing us the best hours on television and so on. Thank you. I read that only to thank my sponsors who stuck with us all through this. Oh, I don't know how this got in here, but I get it from the left and the right. How could you stoop to having William Buckley on your show? The man is a known snake. That's it. A known snake is really something. I know that's going to ruin his day. Anyway, thank you for indulging me in all that and letting me hear that. I must read now this from Elton Rule of ABC, who's president of ABC. It's a telegram. Congratulations on the Dick Cavett Summer Series. As I mentioned in our meeting earlier this week, the response to this innovative programming is most gratifying. As you know, we are now developing plans to ensure the future of the Dick Cavett Show on ABC. I assure you, Dick Cavett figures strongly in ABC's future. Elton Rule, president of ABC Television Network. I want to read that because I did want to explain once again to those who don't understand it that this show was merely planned as a summer experiment, so to speak, with the possibility of bringing back in the fall. And so in fairness to the network, this was not a cancellation. They had bought their fall schedule, and they have to go ahead with it. And in fairness to you, there's not a definite time at the moment for me to come on, but there will be talk in the next couple of weeks. Woody Allen, after this message.
I'm confessing that I love you.
Gee, that never fails. I don't know what it is. I wish I could read you Judith Chris' review of Woody Allen's new film, but I cannot. It's a rave review, and it is a hilarious movie. I just saw it for the second time. And I would like you to welcome Woody. He's had a slight disappointment, and he may not be in a great mood. I probably shouldn't say that. But the 10 Best Dressed list came out, and he was edged out by the rest of the country. Will you welcome from the pages of Gentleman's Quarterly, Mr. Woody Allen? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. You should know that I, this is true, that every year for the last 4 years, nobody ever says anything about this. I made the 10 best dressed list in Poland.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that out. You, all the time, because this movie of yours involves crime and all, I get asked, does he really have a serious interest in crime, and were you once, as a kid, I guess you've given interviews in which you've claimed an interest in crime.
I do. I have an interest in anything on the other side of the law, you know? And when I was younger, I wanted originally to be an FBI man when I was a little kid. That's true. But I didn't have the, I couldn't pass the physical to do it. I didn't have the height requirements or the, I wasn't blonde enough, and I didn't have. And then I wanted to be a criminal for a long time, but this is true. But in New York State, you have to be, I think, over 5'7" to be a criminal.
Is that so?
Yeah. I passed the written, but I couldn't.
They keep revising the requirements, too. We just can't keep up with it. I understand you're following the Queen on what is known as another network.
Yes.
I guess we shouldn't mention which one, but people can easily probably...
This coming Sunday night, which is the eve of a most sacred Jewish holiday, I'm on television. And all the Jewish people around the country are to atone for their sins on that night, and they put me on. And the funny part of it is the show. It's a comedy show, and it's on. The times vary according to the country, but it's on this Sunday night on CBS. And I follow the Queen of England, and it's me and Candy Bergen and I in a sketch where we both get naked, which is really going to be an interesting sketch. It's true.
It's a sketch, not an actual picture.
We've done it already. We taped it already,
yeah.
And it's really very interesting.
I don't know why I find this hard to believe, but I guess I do.
Oh, yes.
Am I too young and naive? And
no, but it is. It's an hour of horny comedy, you know. It's really going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. And the Fifth Dimension are on with me, who are really one of my favorite singing groups, because I'm not. I never wanted to have a group on the show that I didn't really like, because I don't have the nerve to come out and give them a good introduction if I don't. And they consented to do the show. And also Billy Graham, the noted reverend and tall man, is going to be on the show.
It's a very unlikely combination, I must say.
Yes.
You know the royal family, do you? Weren't you when you were in England?
I was in England, but I did a command performance once for the Queen. Raquel Welch and myself did a command performance. It's true. It's not what you think it was, incidentally. I got a chance to meet the Queen. I was in a long line of people, and I was dressed with tails and white tie and tails, and everybody else was next to me. And the Queen came down the aisle, and we all had a bow and meet her. And she said, what are you in town for? And that's true. That's what she said to me. And I said, can you get rid of the King for 5 minutes?
I wouldn't have thought of that. That's great. Speaking of Raquel Welch, have you ever heard this rumor that I was married to her once? I swear, yeah, no kidding. It appeared in a national magazine, in a question column, that we understand that Cat was once married to Raquel Welch.
I thought that was true.
No. I would have remembered, wouldn't I? I'll have to... Well, anyway. I had Namath on here, Joe Namath, the other night.
Right.
And one of the frustrations of my life is that I never was able to play football. I was just too small. Did you go for football, even though you're even...
I played all sports well when I was younger. It's the truth. I'm a remarkably good athlete, and I'm a great baseball player. I got tremendous power to all fields, and...
Kidding.
Sure. And I was a great quarterback, you know, and a fantastic field goal kicker, and I was a great high jumper, and I was a boxer for a while, and I was a great tennis and golf player, and I was a remarkable long-distance runner and a soccer star for a long time, and I do a lot of work on the trampoline, and I do quite a bit of charity work for the B'nai B'rith.
I see. I wondered where that was going. We have, listen, I have an idea. They have put these chairs out here. I thought of this just before we went on. What Norman Mailer calls an existential caper. Why don't we step down center stage, as they do on the Bishop Show, and let the audience ask us anything they want to.
Okay.
It might be stupid, and we may be sorry. I don't mean you will, I mean we may. You want to do that? Let's do it right now. Let's move right into that. Okay. This would probably be a good... We could stand if it's more comfortable.
It's a funny feeling.
Yeah, it is
I
weird.
really feel like a dunce in this chair.
We look like two Charlie McCarthys sitting there. Bergie. Anyway, raise your hand if you want to ask us, either of us, a question. Yes, sir,
Woody, how does it feel to be perverted?
How does it feel to be perverted?
How does it feel to be perverted?
Yes, it's a warm, wonderful feeling. I'm always asked that question. In this week's New York Magazine, I'm quoted as being, in quotes, one of the country's leading perverts. And it's true.
That's a strange thing
I'm
to
at least
call
one of the
anybody.
top 10, you know? If not the leading.
I haven't seen this year's list. Who else? There's a gentleman right there. Can I get a microphone to him? Either of us.
I saw you on 59th Street a week ago going to see that movie Swedish Heaven and Hell with a girl. Do you remember when I said to you, hello, paranoid?
Yes,
Yes, I do. One of us is crazy.
I just want to clarify this right now.
Yeah, I guess you better.
I wasn't going to see Sweden Heaven. I was going to see the 3 films of Edgar Allan Poe's, the Vadim Mal and Fellini film, and that was not a girl with me.
And that's why I answered you the way I did that day. Now I'll let them wonder if we're... Yes, the gentleman in the tie.
I've heard a rumor that you're going to run for the presidency in 1972. Is that true?
Which one of us is he talking to?
I don't think he's talking to either of us. Yes, he's not, and I am not neither.
Yes, vice president?
No, I myself believe in a fascist dictator state. And, I would like to...
Was you going to run for fascist dictator?
Yes, I'm running for dictator. My fondest wish is to be a benevolent dictator. I would like to, get control of the reins of government for maybe just 20 minutes if I could. And, I could really stick the shaft to all those people.
Running for fascists. They're one of the fascist runners in town. How do we do it? What a team. We ought to be on TV more often. Who else has one? There must be a balcony. Yes, balcony. What? Yes, you. I'm assuming there's someone up there. Anyone down here? It's hard to see the balcony. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yell it out. Sorry.
What size shoe do you wear?
What size shoe do I wear? Which leg? That's not bad for an ad.
That was good.
Yeah. I wear 8s. They're actually booties. They have very little feet. Yes, lady in the hairpiece. No, I'm sorry.
Would you ever
Offended.
be a guest on Merv Griffin or Johnny Carson if they asked you?
We were thinking of having them here, but they're going to have to hurry. Yeah, I think we're both free to appear wherever we like. Yes, balcony.
That strange animal musk with Mr. Allen exudes that drives women wild.
Is he back again? Folks at home, the question is, where is the strange animal musk Mr. Allen exudes that drives women wild, and where can we get it? Next. Yes, gentleman with the bow tie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, there was an item in the paper
Yes.
that stated that you can make a lot more money writing, but you prefer performing. Could you tell us why you personally prefer performing?
I don't. I don't prefer writing or performing, actually.
Well, why do you do why do you do more performing than writing?
I don't. I do an inverse ratio of writing to the amount of perverse activity that I do. There's somebody in the balcony right there.
There's someone actually freaking out in the balcony. Yes, right, yes.
Pretty close to me.
Yeah.
I'm married but separated. So it's the same thing in a different sense. I have to walk a few blocks to get what I want.
I don't understand a word of this. I have to walk a few blocks. Yes, someone with glasses, please. There's a gentleman with glasses right back there. Sir, congratulations on your glasses. I thought you had a question. I don't mean to be impertinent.
I wonder if Mr. Cabot has yet made or if he would now care to an endorsement for the position of mayor of New York.
Endorse whom for the position of mayor?
Well, your choice, I would presume.
Yes, I want the funny one. Yes, we all know who that is. Yes, a gentleman raising his hand timorously but has a terrific physique.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Who,
Who's
me?
your tailor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's your tailor?
Who's my tailor?
Right.
I buy everything at, this is true, at the Army and Navy store on 42nd Street. It's the best place. You go in there and it fits right off the rack, and it's like $7 for a pair of pants, and they last forever. And they have an interesting built-in musky odor that you might like.
I see. There's a lady right here.
You're both known for your athletic prowess. Which of you can do the most push-ups?
Which of us can do the most push-ups? I think we all know the answer to that. We would cancel each other out.
Yes. So I started a push-up in 1946. This is true, and it lasted through, I think, the late 50s.
Do you think they're daring us to try? Make a spectacle of our...
I can't do push-ups because I have a terrible, I have an emphysema of my chest that extends, this is true, down to my leg and back up the other side, negating... Also, my chest is at the Broadhurst Theater.
We should give odds. We should start even. I should take my jacket off.
Yeah, I'm not going to actually do push-ups.
Should we take our whole shirt off and do our push-ups on the... That'd be silly. Come on. Don't egg us on.
With the eyelids.
No, actual push-ups.
From the floor? I can't get down.
I will if you will.
Take my shirt off?
Yeah.
I'll roll my sleeves up. I can't take my shirt off because I have a pornographic tattoo on my chest. And it cannot be seen on a major network, you know, unless accompanied by a parent. Pardon me? Did you oil your muscle? Did I oil my muscle? Funny, this guy's
seen your old egg. Okay. Are we undressed enough? If we took our shirts off, it would close the network.
Yeah, I can't take anything off. You know what? You actually want to do push-ups?
I don't know if we ought to go in.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
But think of it this way. What if I drop dead from a heart attack? Then you clap, but you'll feel guilty, right, when you go home. You will, because I'm vulnerable. And you think that guy, he was sweet and he dropped dead from a heart attack because we egged him on to do push-ups. I don't want to do any push-ups. If you want to see a physical act performed,
I knew you'd get us out of this.
Don't we have to break?
I have a tattoo that says Wilma that I'm very ashamed of. No, I got it as a kid at the fair. There was a girl named Wilma, and after that I broke up with her, and there are no red-hot Wilmas running around, so I've wasted my Wilma.
I don't want to do push-ups. I can't. I'm too dignified.
Let's do 5, and we'll let the audience count, and they'll judge on who did them better.
5? You got to be kidding. I can't hold out for more than 2. All right, I'm going to do it.
Go. How long can we stay this way?
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
All right. Go. 1. Oh. I think
4.
It's funny. Have you ever heard a man herniate from the waist up? Very strange. We have to pause and collect our senses. Miss Gordon will be here in a moment. What is your movie around the country yet, or are we talking about a movie that's only in New York?
No. The movie is in New York at the 68th Street Playhouse, and it's in Los Angeles at the Regent Theater, and it's in Boston at the Sherry One Theater, and it opens next week in Philadelphia at the Lane Theater, and the week after that at the United Artists Theater in Chicago. And
Could I hear those again? You must say you're very frank in those answers. You've always been about your personal life, about anything. I've never seen anyone answer questions with such candor. You talk about the ladies.
Yeah, I'm very cool about that. I am. This is a true story. About 2 weeks ago, I ran into my ex-wife at a restaurant in New York, and I'm a sophisticated person about all these things, and I said to her, would you be interested in, for old time's sake, to make love one more time? And she said, over my dead body. And I said, why not? That's the way we always used to do it.
I wish I were older and understood all these things.
She was traumatized because on our honeymoon night, I was making love to her and I got a tear in one of my rubber gloves.
Oh, wait a minute. Ridiculous. Is there a camera on me? Oh, yes. I would like to introduce a lady who is one of the incomparable ladies in the American theater. There have been cults about Ruth Gordon for years and years and years. When great performances on Broadway are discussed, Lorette Taylor in The Glass Menagerie, or Mildred Danick in Death of a Salesman, or Vivian Leigh, or any of the classics that are referred to, Olivier and Oedipus. Ruth Gordon in The Matchmaker is always brought up as one of the masterpieces of all time. And she has been a wondrous presence in the theater for over 50 years. A splendid comedian and a splendid comic writer. She's written movies for Hepburn and Tracy, and she's won an Oscar in Rosemary's Baby. And will you welcome, please, the astonishing Ruth Gordon.
Oh, Dick.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. And I have to thank you for inviting me to come on tonight. you know, you've all been having a glorious time, having wonderful laughs, and I've been listening to it. And to me, this is going to slow things up a little. I'm sorry, but you've got to put up with it. This is a very deep emotional experience to me coming on tonight because Dick was right. I've been in show business. He said 50 years. I hope I don't cry because it really is moving. I've been in show business for 54 years. And this time of year, any of you who are actors who know what job hunting means, August, September, we're in there saying any casting today, anything doing, anything going on. And I've done that for 54 August, 54 September, since 1915. And sorry that this show is closing because it's given me great pleasure and many other people. But the last night lets me start my 54th season in show business. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
And here's another terrific thing. I'm only engaged for one night, obviously, tonight. This is, you know, I open and close tonight. You've had a lovely season, but this is one night. That's all right. It doesn't show any progress. But on the other hand, I'm not slipping because in August 1915, the first job that I ever got, the first money I ever earned was for one day only. And I got paid $5 being in a movie over in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And for the day's work, I got $5. And now for this night's work, well, never mind. But at least, I guess $5 in 1915 would probably be about $250 or something now, wouldn't you think so? But the only thing that really does show progress is how I got to New York. You see, the means of travel. When I left Wollaston, Massachusetts, I went down to the railroad station, got on the train to go to Boston. And that took about 20 minutes. Then I changed trains in Boston. Now, I'm just coming to New York, mind you. And I took a train to Fall River, Massachusetts, that took 2 hours. That landed us at the dock in Fall River, and I got into a cabin, got undressed, and before I went to bed, I got down and prayed that when we went round Point Judith in the boat, it didn't rock so much we'd all get seasick and not look nice in New York the next day. And the next morning, early in the morning, I got to New York and started to tackle show business. Well, the difference is, the progress is... Last Sunday, I left International Airport in Los Angeles, and I got to Kennedy at about 5 hours after that. Nice way to spend Sunday afternoon, and it was a lovely trip. But I'm telling you, that's really progress. But on the Fall River line, there was a lot more action than there was.
You were afraid you wouldn't have anything to say. When I wanted you to come on a long time ago, you said, I never have anything. I always bomb on those shows. You said,
No, I never could have said that because I never went on a show until last year.
Right,
and I do have a lot to say, but I sometimes say it in other departments, you know, like writing or on the stage or in films.
Mm-hmm. Gee, why do you want to work so hard now? You're a great star. You've been around all this time, and you could be relaxing now.
No, I'm not a great star. I am being starred, thank God, at the moment, because that's my dream, to be a movie actress. I am a stage actress, you know, but I've always wanted to be a film actress. And at last, in these later years, I've gotten into the films. And last 2 years ago, I was in Rosemary's Baby, and that was a wonderful film. Oh, it was really wonderful. And of course, I didn't play Rosemary. I played the neighbor that, you know, jinxed her. But in this picture, Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice, I play Aunt Alice, and this is progress, you see. But I got a letter the other day. Oh, it's fascinating, you know, how times change, because I wrote letters to actresses, and I always wrote them, and I said, oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, I love you so. Would you send me the picture? That's all I said. But I got a letter the other day, and it said many flattering things, and then it went on, and it said, in Rosemary's Baby, I wanted to kill you. In Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice, I wanted to kill Geraldine Page. Now, that's good because, you see, she murdered me. She murders me in Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice. So they wanted to kill her and let me go on and live.
I hope they win.
No, they won't win.
Gee, listen, you have known, I guess, just about everybody there is that it would be enviable to know over the past, whatever those number of years were that you said. Well, of course, climaxing in me.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, I mean, Thornton Wilder and George S. Kaufman and Alexander Wolcott.
May I say a thing about Thornton Wilder? Because, you know, we
I think you may.
Thank you. Because, you see, now, I'm not much on television, but I'm very interested in it, and I'd like to be on it. And I notice a lot of times when people say the commercials, they kind of step aside from it. You know, Santa Flush, they don't seem to enjoy saying that. But you know what Mr. Thornton Wilder says? He says there's nothing more dignified than making money. Now, that's a very intellectual man. Nothing more dignified than making money. Now, you see, when we talk about Santa Flush, when we talk about the different things, that's passing on a nice hint to the neighbors all over the world. They're doing something better in their household. They're enjoying themselves more because we mentioned it, and we are earning money and behaving in a very dignified way. So that's for Thornton Wilder.
I heard your husband say that Thornton Wilder is maybe the best conversationalist alive today, and I heard him talk one night. He starts sentences like, I was watching a parade once with Sigmund Freud, and, it's incredible to think of that. And you've known him, and you've known Somerset Maugham.
Yes,
very
and
well.
that's a good thing to think about because, I come from a way back, and my mother gave me certain rules and precepts, and she said, naturally don't speak to any strangers, and women worse than men, and never speak to anybody that you don't really know. Well, Thornton Wilder has been one of the great influences in my life and most wonderful, extraordinary help to me in my career. And how I knew Thornton Wilder is, I picked him up in front of the Booth Theater. So there's no such thing as a generation gap. I knew my mother was wrong way back in 1915.
I see. What kind of neighbor was Katharine Hepburn? You have, she lives next door to you.
Yes, splendid,
Yeah.
splendid neighbor.
Never come over and borrow a cup of anything? Or?
No, she doesn't. She's right in the air this minute, flying to New York.
Gee.
Yep, to do Coco, a musical
the
comedy.
musical.
Yes.
Yeah. You were Garbo's secretary, not in life, but in a film.
Yes.
One time.
Yes.
And then you didn't...
Does everybody remember Greta Garbo?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Because my husband, Dawson Kanan, was directing Funny Girl, and he said to one of the chorus, he said, now this is in this little scene here, this sketch, play that more like Garbo. And she said, what? And he said, play it more like Garbo. And she said, what's that? And I'd never heard of it. And we were so shocked. I'm so glad that you heard of it.
Oh, yeah. Garbo, the famous wrestler.
No, not at this moment. We won't make jokes about Garbo because she's one of the greats. She's one of the film greats.
No doubt about it.
Yes, and everybody says, well, they say she's a great personality, she's a beauty, but Dick is right, I acted with her. And when you play a scene with somebody, that's how you know if they can act or if they're a great personality and a beauty. And Miss Greta Garbo is a very great actress. I wish she were performing right now.
You said once that you wished you had gotten a job in hair. And I wondered if I heard that wrong or if that was a misquote or...
No, I never said a silly thing like that because it would be absolutely inappropriate. I wouldn't do well. It's too much competition. They're just only sensational. But the thing that astonished me about hair, we went to see it at a Saturday matinee, and I always think a matinee can, not have as much zip in its doodah as the evening show, but the afternoon show went just great. And I said to the kids, well, how is this that you've got such a great matinee? And the hair kids said, our Saturday matinee is the best performance we play. Now figure that out.
Wonder why?
I don't know. Ladies, I guess, like it.
Is it true that you remember the factory out there in California where all the swingers go for recreation?
All us swingers go, I think we should say.
You're right.
Yes.
Do you ever get depressed about the theater? They're constantly saying it's dropping dead, the theater, and that...
Oh, nonsense. But I got depressed today, and a perfectly lovely thing happened. There's a wonderful thing about being in films. People speak to you more. People come up and talk to you. And I was at Hamburg Heaven today, and I was a little downcast, which isn't normal for me. I'm always sort of up there. And I was sort of downcast, and all of a sudden, the guy who was stacking the dishes leaned over, and he said, would you accept a belated congratulation on your Oscar award? I loved you from the time I saw you in Cass McGuire. Well, Cass McGuire was a play that I loved so, and I played it about 3 years ago, and it was a bomb. And it was just didn't make it at all. And 3 years later, due to being in films, due to that lucky moment, a guy over at Hamburg Hamlet says, I loved you in Cass McGuire. Now, I walked out of there no longer downcast. I was myself again.
Have you ever thought about or written about what it was that kept you going back in those early days when it was really rough? And I know how poor you were. I read about that, and you've been were quoted as talking about growing up with the brown taste of poverty in your mouth.
Yes.
And
my father was a foreman in a factory, and he got $37 a week. And when I tell you that to stake me to come to New York City, he gave me $50. That's hard-earned money. And I wish he were alive today to see that his investment paid off.
You were never near quitting and giving up and...
Oh, God, no. Excuse me, I shouldn't say God on the air, should I? Well, no, I never thought of giving up, nor I would hope would anybody.
Mm-hmm. Can you hold on for a moment?
Yes,
we have one of those messages, and we'll be back. Miss Gordon, do you have any generalizations about audiences? You've played all those hundreds of matinees and all of those performances.
Yes. Well, I'm certainly for them, of course, but I'll tell you what else. It's a fascinating thing to be. I'm in this film, Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice, and of course it's a horror picture. And I'm not one who goes to see horror pictures, and so this is a kind of new experience for me. And when I read the script, naturally I thought it was terrific, or I wouldn't have gone into it. But as I read of these horrifying things that take place in the film, I thought, how can an audience endure that? How can they put up with it? And then more terror came, and I thought, oh, this audience, they won't be able to look at the screen. And then there's one moment, they say, why you take the job, and this is the moment where I took this job. It's the confrontation of good and bad, the moment of truth, and it's a very deep moment, and the one who's the good person is in the power of the evil one, and at that certain moment, the evil one kind of goes out of power, and the good one could kill her and to defend herself. And she has this great weapon in her hand, but so imbued with the good things of life and the belief that one doesn't kill and that one doesn't do horrible things, that that moment passes and the good person can't perform the deed. So when I read this, I thought, oh, the hush in the audience, oh, that'll be one of the great moments in the world, this great moment where goodness can't really go and win. And as I was sitting at the premiere of Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice in Boston, and this moment came up, there was such a din that I didn't know what had happened, and I looked around, and the whole audience was screaming, "Hit her, Ruth! Hit her, Ruth! Hit her, Ruth!" And that was the great moment that I thought would be so quiet. Now, in the old days, audiences really didn't talk to you. And then, also, these moments of terror, these moments of horror that I thought the audience couldn't look at the screen. These people were screaming louder than I did when I went down Highland Avenue on a flexible flyer and were just screaming for pleasure, you know. But they were just screaming at all the horror. That's a different thing. That never happened in the old days. Probably it's a good thing. Audiences should be heard.
I have a feeling you still go down Highland Avenue in a flexible flyer.
I think I'm going to tell all my
Incredible
secrets.
energy. It's amazing to see you on the stage. Pick up phone. Now on camera? Yeah. Have we lost our minds? Hello? What is this? Will you excuse me?
Yes.
Hello?
Maybe it's for us.
Who is this? Gina Lola Brigida. Is this collect? What is this?
It's a nice surprise, huh?
Are you out of work too?
See, I knew that was the last show.
Yes.
And I heard that every week there was a phone call from Rome here and was very expensive. So I decided to come here because it's less expensive. It's near there, you see?
That's the sweet. This is an absolute surprise. And an awful one. How dare you come in without asking? Do you know Miss Gordon?
We met
Have you ever met before?
They build in a week.
Do you know Mr. Allen?
He's very funny.
Thank you. I was just thinking of...
Yes,
I was just sitting here trying to figure which, how we're going to split them up, you know, who gets which one.
How do you like that? Why don't we let the ladies fight over us? Have you ever had Gina Lola Brigida drop in on you like this? I
No,
am
what a
speechless.
pleasure.
But
I
he is
don't know what to
simpatico, that's
say.
why I'm here.
Yes.
That's terrific. We have very little time left, is that right? And then we do it as a band number? Well, I guess I'm going to start my good nights. That's what the sign said. Thank you, Gina, for dropping in. I'm genuinely amazed. Thank you, Woody. Thank you, Miss Gordon, for being here. It's really a pleasure. Where will I be? Mr. Carson is going to let me come on his show Monday night, so I will qualify. No. This is so I can get my unemployment insurance. And we'll see you then, I believe, or sometime. Okay. I guess this is my chance to really say goodbye and to thank you for all the support. And I want to thank Bobby Rosengarten, and I want to thank all the people who contributed to this show in that usual way when you can't think of any of their names at the last moment. And they will play us off now, and thank you for your support, and we'll see you again. And that's it. Thank you. Good night.
This is Fred Foy speaking. Good night.